What if you had a magic wand where you could create the most amazing life, the most amazing relationships, an awesome business that you absolutely love? Wouldn't that be like, wouldn't you just love to do that? Wouldn't you say yes to the magic wand? Well, I've got something. It's not quite a magic wand, but it really works almost as good as a magic wand. And it's called scripting. Scripting is something I have been doing for decades. Scripting is writing down, journaling, writing stories, right? It's really fun and easy process to write down stories about possibilities in your life, about what could happen, and really helping give the universe some clarity. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, scripting. It's kind of like daydreaming, but even more powerful. So stay tuned for today's episode, which is all about scripting and how you can create the most amazing life and business of your dreams. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about today. First of all, hello, I am Laura West. I'm the host of your show. I'm the CEO of the Center for Joyful Business. I'm a creative mindset and business success coach. And for over 20 years, I have been helping conscious, sensitive, creative, soulful, and ambitious entrepreneurs who want to grow their business and they really want to share work, their soul work with people and create change in the world while making great money. And they're looking for a different way to run their business. That it's not about soul crushing strategies and hustling. It's not about not marketing so that you keep your business really teeny tiny small, but it's about aligning your energy from the inside out so that you can attract opportunities to you, so that you can really step into the leader that you're meant to be with this work that you're wanting to do. So I hope you find the show this wonderful, satisfying oasis of sanity and creativity, and that it's really a refreshing approach to growing your business. And you know what I really want you to know is that I believe that you are designed to flourish, that you already have everything you need inside you to find the way, to find the path, to create, to grow exactly the way that you really want to. And we just need to release the possibilities. We need to just figure out what's getting in the way and stopping you from truly flourishing. So if you're here live, welcome. What we're going to do is I'm going to talk for about 30 minutes on our topic today about scripting. And then I'm going to open it up to you after about 30 minutes. And I'm going to answer your questions. We'll have time I'll turn off the recording. We'll have time just to have a chat and talk about what's coming up for you in growing and creating your business. So this year, I'm celebrating 21 years of business at Joyful Business. And let me tell you, scripting has been along with me every part of this journey. And it's been a growth journey, right? Not saying that scripting, even though I call it the magic wand, it is not going to make it so that you don't have any issues and that things aren't sometimes hard and challenging. That's actually what helps us grow. We would never grow if we didn't have challenges. But I will say that scripting has been it's one of my power tools that I go to that really has helped me in creating this abundant, beautiful life that I love. Here at a marina where I live right by a marina. I can walk out to the water in between coaching calls. I can walk over to the bay just a few blocks away. I'm surrounded by water, which is my personal favorite thing. And 10 minutes from the ocean. I just had somebody visiting the other day and she's like, we were laughing about, how would you like your water today? So that's part of my beautiful life. And then professionally, like I've created a business where I do work that I love. I get to get up in the morning. That's key. And help people, right? I get to help people live their purpose and share their soul work, do meaningful work, and really make a great living at it. And so scripting has been with me all along. It's one of those power tools, as I said, to help me create all this and help me line up my energy. So in the simplest form, scripting is about writing down possibilities. Journaling, you can call it journaling, you can call it writing a story, visualizing, daydreaming if you don't want to write it down, but with more intention. I like to call it visualizing beacon futures, right? Beacon futures. Beacon futures are futures that are out there that are shining brightly, and they call to you. But the thing is, we often think, when we think about our future, we think about one future. The fact is, we have multiple, we have endless possibilities for beacon futures. There are endless beacon futures out there. And so we can practice using scripting, aligning with any one of those possibilities, right? All you have to do is kind of turn slightly, and there's a little different nuance, right? A little different piece in the way that it shows up. So scripting, it uses the imagination, right? The imagination is a tool for your soul. It is a soul tool, all right? Scripting combines imagination with emotional vibration, right? Your feelings and your emotions. So when you bring in the powerful imagination to create the possibilities with the deep feeling and emotions, and then combine it even further down, we're going from your head, which is all about the imagining. We're going into the heart, which is around your feelings and emotions. And then we're going into your gut, which is about your identity and who you are. And the more you script, you start really leaning into and taking on that new identity. It's like you're crafting the new identity with every script. I look at it as a way that your soul really communicates with you and with the world around you and with your higher self. So that way, the universe can align with your energy and bring you these extraordinary opportunities. It's because when you're scripting, you're getting clearer and clearer and clearer, which means your vibration that you're sending out, the energy that you're sending out, is really congruent. It's really aligned. So the universe can say, that's what you want. I've been wondering. I've been trying to deliver you all these different things. Now I see what you're really aligned with. And now I know how I can deliver things to you and through you. All right, so today I'm going to share with you a few of my favorite strategies and pointers. These are all from my class called Writing Your Reality, Using the Power of Scripting for Creating Success. And so I'm going to share some of these strategies with you. First, I want to share a story. I remember going through my first divorce with the father of my two sons, and I really wanted a spiritual-led divorce. He was a good man, right? He's a good father, still is. But we were growing apart in a way that it didn't seem like we were going to ever come back together. And I really wanted the freedom to grow more fully into who I knew I could become. And I just didn't see it happening in that relationship. And I also knew that we were always going to be connected because of our kids. So I scripted like crazy all throughout our divorce and all throughout our pre-divorce process. I scripted the outcome of the actual divorce, the process, the afterlife of us together as parents, but no longer married. I even scripted each meeting that we got together where we were going to discuss like another piece of our separation. We would have these short meetings, the two of us, to just talk about one piece of the agreement. And I would script before I would go into that conversation. And I would just script that like the most amazing possibilities could happen, that we were aligned, it was unfolding easily, we came to agreement easily, we both wanted the best for each other. And that we got to these resolutions, and I just scripted the way that we got to those resolutions. And so what I'll say is, to this day, we are still really connected. He is a good friend. I totally trust him. Still wouldn't want to live with him, but we totally want the best for each other. And I really attribute a lot of that to being so intentional with my scripting. People would always comment when we'd be at baseball games together about how well we got along together. Like we got along better than a lot of married couples did, right? Which of course, because we weren't living together. We didn't have the the day-to-day stuff, or we could separate for that. So of course, that happened, but I think we were an anomaly for your typical divorced couple that might sit on opposite ends of the bleachers, right? And I really attribute scripting that helped me for how I wanted to show up. It would keep connecting me to not going for the quick little, dig, that kind of thing. Like it really scripted who I was being during this process. And as I shifted my being, I believe that it shifted his being and really called him forward as well. And, not everything was perfect. I'm not going to say it was, but that it really, really well. It was really quite extraordinary. In fact, it was so extraordinary that after we showed up in court together to, have the judge finalize our divorce, he actually took me to this club, this professional business club, and in the middle of the afternoon, and we toasted with champagne to the rest of our lives. Like, I never could have imagined that. I didn't even put that in my script, right? But I know without a doubt that that scripting helped me show up in a different way, and it led to something that was extraordinary as that. So, as you can tell, scripting is a part of my life. In fact, it's part of my daily toolkit, my daily rituals. And what I mean by that is that I script all the time. And sometimes they're, long scripts, like here's what I want for the year, and imagining, not what I want for the year, but imagining that I've already had this year. We'll talk about this more in a minute. And sometimes it's longer, multiple pages. Sometimes it's just a paragraph that I'm doing for my day or for the week. Or maybe it's for the rest of the summer or a particular segment of the year, like the next 90 days. Sometimes I'm scripting for a project or a difficult conversation. So you can do this with your just daydreaming. You don't have to write it down, but I will tell you that there is something about when you write down that it gets into your body in a whole different way. Then it brings in the imagination, and it brings in something that really helps you lock it into your body. And then with scripting, we're more intentional about just kind of wandering in the daydream. Daydreaming is fun. Again, the imagination is a soul tool. But with scripting, you're actually intentionally bringing in the emotional vibration. You're actually intentionally bringing in who you're being. So it's even more powerful. So scripting to me is this opportunity to really let yourself go, let yourself surrender into possibility land. That's what I like to call it, possibility land. And it does this amazing thing. It helps you to both get like clarity and focus. When you script, you get this, amazing clarity that'll pop in, but then it also opens you up to receive ideas and inspiration, things that you couldn't have even imagined that maybe were even more amazing than you might have originally thought of. And as you do this and practice with it, you really change your vibration inside so that you get more and more aligned with these possibilities, with surrendering and being open to receive, being open to co-create, put out your clarity and focus, but then also being a woman who is confident, who shows up and trusts what's showing up in front of her and taking courageous action. And oh my gosh, so many times when I'm writing about a relationship or writing about a conversation or a project, all of a sudden all these other ideas come in. And so I'm always getting, it's a way of opening up the creative flow as well. And then of course the universe, which is all about vibration, right? It's in alignment with you and what your vibration is. And so the more you practice being scripting and really getting the feeling and emotional part of this, and you become in alignment with the vibration, the energy, the emotion, the imagination, that's where the universe can deliver all these synchronicities. The universe can deliver all these cool opportunities, right? To me, that's how synchronicities come in, right? And how you're able to see the synchronicities. Like you might get an inspiration to take an action, like to call someone, to reach out, or maybe to do a class. I had an inspiration for a long time, this nudge to do a scripting class. And I tell you, it just keeps going. My clients love it. My soul tribe just loves whenever I do these scripting classes. It's not something that was originally on my plan, right? I've had that happen with, we had the last recession back in 2010, and I got this nudge to take a course in Vancouver around graphic recording, where you learn how to do creative doodles, what I call info doodles, for keynote speakers or strategic meetings and things like that. Wasn't totally related to what I was doing, but it wasn't totally a tangent. And during the recession, and we were going through some really ridiculously crazy financial times, but I just knew I had to do it. Didn't know why. And so I took a week, went to Vancouver, learned this, and for the next few years, I was doing info doodles and graphic recordings at conferences and these cool creative maps and murals. And it took my business in the whole different direction and opened up all this creativity. It wasn't the whole business that I wanted, but it was a piece that opened up creativity in a whole new way for me. And it led me down a path of really shifting my business in a whole different way. So even when you think about, like following that inspiration, if you think about winning the lottery, like you still have to be inspired to go and take action, right? Go buy the ticket, right? So it's still that we get that inspiration from scripting, but then it also leads us to the action, right? It leads us to what's the next action to take. And it can be that simple. All right, so let's talk about some of the ways for scripting, some of the things that you want to think about for that. So one of the very first things that I like to do when I'm working with clients or working with a group, before you can get clear about what you want, you got to get clear about what you don't want, right? A lot of us, we hear about law of attraction. And law of attraction sometimes says, don't focus on what you don't want. You don't want to focus on what you don't want. Now, here's the thing, is the fears, the doubts, the worries, they're there, right? They're there. They're in your body. They're locked in your cells in a lot of cases, right? They're going to come up. It's not that they're not going to come up. It's they're there already, right? The thing is that you can't truly go into what you want and be totally in authentic alignment with it if your fears and doubts and worries are underneath, have a grip, and they won't let you actually be relaxed enough and open enough to receive the greater opportunities. So it really helps to name what it is that you don't want so that you can get clear about what you do want. And so one of my favorite ways to do that is through what I call a scribble journal. And it's super easy. You just get out a blank piece of paper and get out one of your favorite pens, or I love to use a really good juicy Sharpie marker. And then you scribble, right? And I say scribble like I like to do cursive, or you can do print, and you write on this piece of paper in all different directions, right? All overlapping, and you just write all of the stuff that you're afraid of, the things you're worried about, the judgments, the stuff you would never say out loud, right? You might even have some cuss words in there, right? All the things that like run through your mind, right? Or are underneath, and that you wouldn't dare say out loud. And they can be full sentences, they can be phrases, they can be words, and you let out the worries, the fears, the anger, the judgments. You just like get it out. It's like pouring it out, and you write as fast as you can without stopping. Don't worry about editing, don't worry about misspelling, turn the page around, write on top of it. You're gonna have this thing that is just this big scribbly mess all over. Nobody's gonna be able to see anything on there, read anything on there. But what it does is it lets go. It really helps you let go and release. Release the things that actually have a grip underneath. It's like these invisible energetic shackles that are keeping you, kind of like that old story about the elephant. The elephant, the baby elephants, they put a shackle on the baby elephant's leg so that they won't run away. And then when they get older, they can take the shackle off, and the elephant just stays right where it's at, right? And it just thinks it can't move. And so it gets those invisible shackles off of you by releasing that stuff. Then, it's like you're able to shake it off. Usually you feel a little more softer. Like for a while there, you're like intense and it gets you going. But then when you keep going and really release, and then you get to a point where it's like you can have compassion for, okay, here's a woman who just needs to release all of this. And then you can start softening. And then you can become more aware of what wants to come in now. So that's one of my suggestions for the kind of preparing for writing your reality with scripting. Then what you want to do is to look at something specific. So, either a project or a focus area in your business, and look at something that you're getting ready to work on, or maybe you want to look at your year. It's always good to have a script for your year or the rest of the year. Or you can look at your week or even your day, as I said. And then you just start writing, imagining that it's, either the end of the day, and you write that like it's the end of the day, or you write it's December 31st, or it's the day after you launch your book or your big program. And this one of my favorite techniques is just go to the end and then imagine that you're having a moment where you're, sipping a cup of tea or coffee or champagne, and that you let yourself feel the success of already having completed the year, the week, the project, right? And you let yourself feel the gratitude for being here, being in this place. It's not, I want to create something. It is, I am here on December 31st feeling with my warm cup of tea, and I am just looking out over the lake, and I am feeling such gratitude for all the amazing things that have happened this year. And then you reflect back on what happened. So I love to write as though it's already happened and you are appreciating what happened as you look back. And there's no editing. This is not perfection. This is not about getting it right. You just let it flow, and you just write this. It's like a script, but it's as though it's like thinking about like a movie, right? And you're writing one script. From what I understand about how they write movies, lots of times they write many different scripts. They have all these different writers that contribute all these different possible scenarios, and then they figure out which ones all fit together, and they choose the ones that make the most sense, right? And sometimes they change the parts, right? They go back and they come up with new endings. So again, this is just one script, one possibility where you can let your imagination go to wherever it wants to go. And as I said earlier, there are endless possibilities. If you think about looking out and what I call beacon futures, there's endless beacon futures, right? That if you just turn just a little bit, change one little scenario, show up a little more confidently, maybe say yes to a certain person or opportunity, then your future is going to look a little bit different, right? We've all seen those movies, right? Where one little thing changes and a new possibility shows up. So the other piece of this is that you want to slow down enough so that you can then notice, as you're writing, you can notice the whispers, the nudges, the ideas that are going to come through you as you're writing. Now, when you're scripting, you want to include form and feeling, all right? Form and feeling. So, sorry, I'm getting over a little cold. For example, I did some scripting around my new website that I worked on for about a year. A beautiful new big website over at joyfulbusiness.com. Go check it out. And I would script a lot about the end, about the launch of the website, about how excited I was, how proud I was to share it. I was feeling the love and the feedback from my clients, from my friends, from my colleagues. The feeling of stepping into a leader role and really stepping into my leadership around my message. And so I wrote a lot about that, and that helped guide me through to who I wanted to be during the website process. All right, and so, excuse me, I'm gonna put a cough drop in. So I write about the form. Here's what I see on my website, here's what it looks like, but then I would also write about the feeling of it. All right, I'm gonna pause for just a second and cough. Okay, I'm coming back. Tears in my eyes. I'm just getting over COVID. So Thought I could make it through 30 minutes without having a coughing attack. Got a cough drop in now. So we'll cut out this segment when they're recording. But thank you all for those of you who are here. All right. I can finish up. All right. Let me get back to my scripting. So when you're doing things like writing to the end of the year, say on December 31st, I love to go to a place that is like my sacred place. For me, it's always the beach, some sort of water. And I imagine that I'm, sitting on the beach December 31st, cozied up, in a chair with a warm cup of something, usually a warm cup of something, and really letting myself fill in the details, right? Sitting in the big comfy chair, looking out the window, journaling with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, really feeling the gratitude coming up in my heart as I look back over the year. And even just writing all of that helps get you into the feeling of it, right? And the feeling of it is as important as the words and the ideas that come up. And again, you can do this with publishing a book, moving to a new home. One of my projects I did last year was scripting the TV show. All right, so I'm going to wrap up because I need to wrap up. Okay, we're going to wrap up for today. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thanks so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you for watching this episode of Joyful Business TV. I want to invite you to get more creative strategies and support for growing your business. You can start right now by activating your abundance mindset with a really powerful creative visualization that will help you get into the universal abundance current, one of my favorite things to do. And you'll also get a companion 7-day journal that will help you create a daily habit of co-creating with the universe. These are 2 powerful resources that you can get started right now to help grow your business and activate that abundant mindset. You just go over to activateabundancegift.com.